So thank you so much, Aman, for this fabulous introduction. And thank you everyone for actually being here, because this really shows to me that, you are here because you care and you want to grow and, see this time as an investment in yourselves as well. I'd like to make this session really interactive and hands-on, because obviously, you guys have probably questions, and we have actually 7 panelists today as well who will be sharing their expertise and also their stories. So also a big welcome to our panelists, these amazing experts, which I will be introducing a little bit later during the presentation. Now, for those that have turned up live, we have a few surprises at the end, so stay tuned. Firstly, you're going to get a download link for the Women in Leadership checklist. And I just want to say one thing. I also would like to welcome the men, or the men are going to watch this, because, we are open, right? We want to actually share, and we're going to have fabulous men watching this as well and joining us too. Because I feel it's super important that we share and we don't exclude each other, we share across gender and really create this understanding. So the checklist obviously will help you implement what you have heard today, because it's not just about listening to a seminar and a workshop, it's about implementation. It's about you getting a transformation and taking away some nuggets that you can actually go and do, okay? And also secondly, if you permit, we have actually an incredible offer for you to also get to the next level in your life and career. And again, we'll be making an offer later on. But before we get started, just a bit of admin so that you know the structure of the meeting. I'm going to share some PowerPoint slides in a minute, but you can also get involved and ask your questions. So firstly, I have 2 ladies who's going to help me, Claire and Melissa. They're going to be my lovely assistants today, and they will be monitoring the chat. All participants are muted. And again, feel free to ask questions. We'll probably have plenty of time at the end to go through Q&As. We can kind of collect all the questions, and we can also open up to all the panelists. So it won't be me answering all the questions. So it will be a range of experts as well. So I'm going to go through this workshop first. This will be recorded as well, and it will also be sent out to you over email afterwards. So if you want to go back and rework some of the things, or if you missed bits or you have to leave early, absolutely no problem at all. So I'm going to share my slides, and hopefully you're going to see this. So Claire, can you see my slide? Good. Let me just, good, just gonna pin my own video. There we go. Where did I put it? At the bottom. So huge welcome to this interactive workshop, Women in Leadership. I'm Sabina Matharo, I'm your host, as you know, and I'll be introduce myself in a little bit, but really I wanna position, what we're gonna do today. This webinar, or this interactive workshop, is really about for you to claim your power and become the leader that you're meant to be. And it ties up with, of course, the book that I wrote. I'm just going to come hold it in the camera, that I wrote together with 24 fantastic co-authors. So we're talking about this as well. Now, this is really, so I'm going to be touching on 3 things, really. 3 ways to help you step into your power with confidence, and how you can create results for yourself authentically, and how to make an impact daily. I think these are the main things, and we'll actually touch on more things around how can we be the best that we can be in life and in business every single day. This is part of a wider movement through my own business. It's called Reach for Greatness. And I'm actually also hosting on LinkedIn a virtual Women in Leadership Summit, which is consisting of a series of online interviews, webinars, and as Aman said, it's lunchtime talks as well in corporates. We also can continue the conversation, and I'll share that in the end. We have a LinkedIn group as well. And I said, this is open for men and women, because we want to create that understanding and have those conversations from different viewpoints as well. So what is it that reaching for greatness in life to me really is? To remind ourselves of our own purpose and stepping into the unknown and taking on the challenges and risks, which I then call empowerment. I think this is a really powerful powerful statement, and this is the foundation of my vision, my purpose, and why I have actually created Reach for Greatness. And I would like to answer this question for you today. how can we as women, and possibly men as well, in business and in leadership, achieve this, achieve greatness in life and in business? Before we answer this question, just very briefly, who am I? As I said, I'm a coach, speaker, and author of Rise in Pursuit of Empowerment, but I'm also the founder of the Empowerment Portal, of which you will actually hear a little bit more about, and the host of Women in Leadership. And I've got about 20 years or so consulting experience. I've been part of senior leadership teams, and I've been actually through some really tough times in male-dominated environments. And also, of course, in performing in very high-pressured roles. And I really, really know what it can be like and how overwhelming actually stress can creep in, and how sometimes we self-doubt each other, especially we as women. Now, I'm particularly passionate about empowering and supporting women to step, of course, up and become leaders in their own right, regardless of where they are in the organization, because I believe everyone has the potential and is quite often scared to share the voice and step up, because I've been there and I know the journey. So I have sort of two sides to this. Now, firstly, I had this vision, right, that led me through many, many amazing things. So this vision was literally last year. One morning I woke up and it's like, I need to write a book with 100 women. So I told my husband at breakfast, and he's like, sounds a bit crazy. I mean, firstly, you're not a native English speaker. I'm from Austria, right? Secondly, I've never written a book, and I'm not sure if I can actually write that many pages on my own. I don't know who to call. I don't know how the whole publishing and the Amazon works. But still, I went for it. And within 2 weeks, I found a copywriter, a publisher, and within another four weeks, the other 24 women actually appeared. It just appeared in my life. And it was so easy because I had set the intention and I just went for it. Sometimes at this stage, you probably think, oh, I'm not sure if it's a good idea. If, I don't know, this is like out of my comfort zone. And then you start to procrastinate. And of course, we women want to be perfect. And kind of that is where we stop and where we then not pursue our dreams. So kind of with this little story, I want to just emphasize that, I've been there and I know this, and it can be really, really hard. And I would have never thought I would be hosting a huge webinar like this probably a year or two ago, right? So you can really do this. We can all grow. We can all do this if we just go for it and believe in ourselves. Now, about the book, very briefly, I mean, throughout the book, all the women, they kind of share stories, their own stories, the kind of struggles that they've gone through, and they could be relationship struggles, it could be illnesses, it could be like redundancies. So there's lots and lots of many different angles. And I know that, everyone will find one story or two stories that will absolutely relate to them. And that was the intention, that we actually share real stories of real people. And I think this is so much more attractive than just reading like a theory book, right? And really, I looked at the learning throughout the book, and this is what I'm going to share with you, the three sort of main ingredients, the things that I found over and over again. What are the things that the women have actually applied in their life and how they turned their lives around? The learning really is that they stepped into their power, as they wanted to change. And, they didn't want to be complacent anymore, and they didn't want to have their average life, so they created their own spaces, and they're also helping others to do the same. And I'm really, really privileged to have some of these women on the call today, and we will open up the mic to them as well. You get them on video and we can ask them questions, and they'll share a little bit of their stories. So, let me just position the whole thing a little bit, the whole challenges for women at the workplace, because I have encountered them. You probably have encountered them as well. And, it would be very interesting to see, whether you can relate, and feel free to, put that in the chat and say, yeah, that was me as well. I can relate to that. So there's definitely a whole thing around work-life balance, and potentially if you're like me, I've got 2 children, maybe feeling guilty of doing long hours or having to travel and things like this. Sometimes you need that courage to speak up, and you kind of self-doubt creeps in. Sometimes you feel the unknown, and maybe you're going to, you think, oh gosh, I'm going to be judged, if I say that or if I do that. And we women may have to work extra hard to prove ourselves. I mean, I definitely had to had that experience. And then there's the other thing, there's the whole sort of politics, and sort of the pink ones. Those are ones that I felt definitely, the bit of pregnancy discrimination as I was going to go off, the way it was all handled. yeah, there's still the gender pay gap there. You know, there's things around race and ethnicity. It's harder to climb the career ladder. There's sometimes boys club going on as well. They sort of huddle around coffee machines and things like this. But well, no, we have girls clubs as well, you know, and things like that. But I don't want to go too much into depth. What I want to say about this really is that these things actually fueled my growth and my development. I did not see this as something that's going to stop me, because I believe finger pointing is not the answer. You know, the change has to happen from within us, and we need to change ourselves before we can change the world around us. And it's sometimes also our perception and how we see things and how we respond to some of these things. You know, we can take this personal, or we can just take it with a pinch of salt. You know, like I heard stories when I did some lunchtime talks, you know, someone said to me, well, you know, sometimes I get these funny comments in the office, and they say, well, oh, you just got this contract because you're a woman, or you failed because you're a woman, whatever it may be, right? Yeah, it's great. You know, you can say, yeah, that is because I'm a woman. Sometimes I just say, yeah, isn't it great? I have all these extra sort of ingredients. I've got this extra energy, and I can sort of sweet talk other people, right? I'm just taking it as a pinch of salt. And as I said, we need to actually look at ourselves. And another interesting thing is, and this is a fact, and this is like through research, big companies done research like Reuters and McKinsey's, right? They actually found out that companies who have a higher number of women in their workforce have gained higher financial profits and productivity compared to the companies which have fewer women employees. Isn't that interesting? So, power. Now, in the next part, I'm going to give you the 3 key ingredients that is going to help you step into your power with confidence, create results for yourself authentically, make that impact every single day so that you can be the best you can be in life and in business. You know, and in order to make this, obviously, we're going to make it interactive. We're going to introduce 3 women who are co-authors in the book, Rise in Pursuit of Empowerment, who are going to actually bring these concepts a bit more to life, because they have that real story behind them. Yet they transform themselves, and they have exactly used these 3 key ingredients. And it will give me a bit of a break from talking, and I'll have a sip of water as well. So let me just introduce the step number 1. Number 1 is the resilience and your growth, okay? So firstly, we need to turn failure into fuel and learn from them. And these are not fundamental new concepts, absolutely not, but we just want to bring it into concepts of real stories and a reminder, right? I mean, as I said, through challenges, I bounced back, I became stronger, and I didn't let failure beat me, you know, because I realized every time there's some sort of failure, there's a learning in that, right? Take it as a positive. We would tell that to our children as well. If they fail, it's like, okay, we can learn from this. Get up again. You know, how many times, if you have had children, how many times did they try to learn to walk and they were sort of crawling, then they walked a few steps, they were falling down again. If they didn't get up again, they would never be walking, right? So it's about reminding ourselves of that. And we are on a journey in life, absolutely. Number 2, it's never, you know, personal growth. Never stop your personal growth. Continue your learning, work on yourself. You know, for example, leadership tools is a great way. Yeah, these are some fundamentals for developing your ways of working. You know, you can really enhance daily interaction, motivate, inspire, and appreciate teams around you. You know, that will really, really boost your impact as well and influence your overall results massively. Be creative, take responsibility. As I said, I was thinking a bit out the box when it came to me writing that book. Go for things that make you feel, even if it feels like it's out of reach, right? Don't overthink it, because, you know, overthinking may lead to procrastination. And then don't be afraid to speak up. I think we kind of mentioned that, you know, and take some risks, you know, don't try to be perfect, and don't try to please everyone either. So I'd like to introduce to you one of the ladies who has co-authored Rise and has grown massively. I hope Gloria is there and she's getting ready. I'll probably try to find you on the video in a minute, but she has literally turned her life around. Not Gloria, sorry, Claire. Why am I talking Gloria? It's actually Claire. She's amazing. I mean, she has really had a set of dramatic events. You know, she's totally transformed her life. She went from being a divorced bipolar victim with 2 kids, living a full life of abundance, love, and health and happiness. And what she's done has been just absolutely amazing, and who she is now as well. So let me just grab you and unmute you, Claire.
Yeah, I can hear you, Sabine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you want to be on video as well? Let me find you. You can talk, and I'll try to find you on video. Here you are. I found you.
Thank you. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for this platform, Sabine. I think it's you know, we always think that we're the only ones going through these things, that have these problems in the workplace or in our personal life.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. In our personal life. So to be able to, you know, share these stories and come together, it's really important, because you are never alone. You are not the only one going through this. And for me, I just want to give you a couple of pointers that really helped me come out of that space. So when I was at my lowest level, I went into the silence, and I was literally ready to give up on my life. And I heard these words come through that said, I had to help myself. You have to help yourself. And that is the words that, it's the fuel, like you say, Sabine, the fuel that catapults you forwards. And understanding that I was trying to look for all these external factors for my success, for my happiness, when, like you say, everything was within. And so now, for me, what I understand success to be is fulfillment. And the reason I ended up with the depression, the bipolar, was because I was compressed. I was squashing down my soul and my desires, and therefore didn't feel the sense of growth. And the story I was telling, I was a depressive, I was bipolar, you know, I was divorced. And there's power in a story, hence the book, but how you can turn your life around by giving yourself this new story. So I'm all about being human and bringing these human elements back into the workplace, back into the individuals, and knowing that you have to help yourself. You can do this yourself. You don't need these external factors, but you don't need to do it by yourself. But what you need is, you know, is already within. And it's, you know, taken me time to be able to own everything, my flaws, values that I broke. When you can really own that, you set yourself free as a woman. And then the results start coming into you from health, wealth, relationship, all the other stuff, the job roles. It's like owning who you are, the story that you tell.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Claire, and you've done so well. Okay, so let's whiz back. I'm going to introduce the second part of this. So number 2 ingredient, and then the next author. So number 2 ingredient is really about surrounding yourself with a network of people who are on the same path and who really believe in you. You want to actually ditch the abusive relationships, the toxic friendships with all these people, you know, whose goals and values don't align with yours. And you want to actually look at, you know, who are your role models? Who could be a mentor around you that can help you and pull you up and really, you know, encourages you, rather than say, oh, nah, I don't think you'll be able to achieve that anyway, right? So now, and yeah, stop feeling guilty and please others. We mentioned that before. So now I'd like to introduce to you Susanne. She is an empowerment and resilience coach, and she is also one of the co-authors in the book. She absolutely stepped into her power. She's taken the courage to leave toxic relationships behind her, and she is now a creative and inspiring change maker. Susanne, where are you?
Hi.
Hello. I'm just gonna find your video too. There's so many amazing people here. Yeah, you can start talking.
Okay, thank you, Sabina, for that lovely introduction. So actually, I've got a question for everybody, just to start off, because we've got a bit of a theme going on at the moment here, and that is about self-reflection. So the question initially is, how often have you found yourself in repeating patterns with people around you? Because, of course, my story tells about the toxic relationships that I've had, but why? Why have they repeated themselves? Because believing in ourselves, first of all, we have to get there. If there are things that are buried deep in our subconscious mind, how do we know what it is that's actually holding us back? And there is the key, because we've got all of these years of experiences, of thoughts that have submerged themselves deep in the layers, and we just don't know always what it is, why we find ourselves back in that situation. Oh no, here we go again. Why are those people treating me like that? So it's getting back to that relationship with self. And this is what I found, why I went from a marriage that ended, that then repeated. There were certain behaviors that repeated themselves within the workplace, and I was finding the same kinds of problems for myself. So it was in then reaching out to coaches to find a way of forgiving and letting go for the things that were deep within myself that started the ball rolling for me. How to dismantle that fight and flight mode, where you're stuck in that hamster wheel, because you've got to know how to hit that pause button initially to be able to just catch your breath, take just a deep breath in and just let it go. And then look at ways that you can increase your ability to notice and change perspective. And in this way, I found that I could actually express myself creatively and learn through gratitude, processes of gratitude that really got me to that place. So there's more, of course, in the book. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Amazing story as well, Susanne. So, and last but not least, let me share the third ingredient. Need to move this around. So the third ingredient is your empowerment, and empowerment for me certainly as well there are three things. It's your mind, body, and your soul. So when it comes to mind, it's about self-belief, relationships, encouragement, and do some energy work as well. And then of course there's a whole body self-care, re-energization, nutrition, exercise, as well as your soul. This is around purpose, fun, and progression. And let me just give you a couple of examples around this. So we often as women, we are last on the list. So I don't know if you have children, family, we see ourselves as very last on the list in terms of self-care. How often do we dismiss our deepest desires? We have dreams, but we don't follow them through because we feel it's impossible, or we just kind of put it off, right? For one day, or when I have more money, or when I when I live in a nicer house, then I will be happy. How often do we do this? Right? Quite often. So this is about saying, okay, we can be happy now. Why don't we step into our empowerment now? Because that means we can actually attract all of these things much quicker. Yeah, and I said, as example, where did it lead me? If I had said, well, I need to learn how to write a book first, I need to learn how to create webinars first before I'm ready. No, I just stepped into my power, just go on and did it without actually thinking much about it, because I felt passionate about it and I knew the right things, the right people would come, in my way, and they would help me along the journey. I really trusted that. And I'm not going to talk too much about body and soul. I mean, purpose and fun and progression. And one of the things absolutely is we want to have purpose every single day. We want to feel like we are achieving something, right? So it's really important to actually think about, what is my purpose? No matter where you are and what organization you work or what you do, how can I actually make my work more purposeful? I'd like to introduce you to my next co-author, who is absolutely amazing when it comes to body, mind, and soul. She is gone through her incredible journey herself, initially through a very traumatic motherhood, and then she started to investigate and master the human mind. And I'd like to introduce Gloria Prest, who is now a counselor and a hypnotherapist. And she is absolutely fascinated by science. She really, really knows her stuff. So Gloria, if you're there, we can unmute you and I'll get
I am.
video. Yes?
I am.
Fabulous.
Okay, yes, here I am. Hello.
Hello.
I'm not sure whether you can see me, but
I can.
hello. Yes. Okay. Well, trying to resume my life in 2 minutes is a little bit challenging, but I'll just tell you. In the book, I tell the story of how difficult it was for me to get ahead with education and so on. But one thing that I have is persistence and consistency. I am someone who doesn't easily give up. And if I have an obstacle, I'll find a way around it. So it's been throughout my life. I started my working life at the age of 14, and the idea of studying psychology never entered my mind. It was so far out of my possibilities at the time. But I always was a very curious child, and I had a family around me, a large amount of family, mostly adults, and I was very curious to know why people behave the way they did, and why did they do the things they do when actually it was obvious it wasn't good for them. So that always puzzled me. But I never thought any more of that. And my entering into the field of psychology was out of sheer necessity. When I had my son, I had to give up work eventually because of the needs that he had. He was born profoundly deaf and with some undiagnosed developmental difficulties. Basically, I call him my DIY kid because he had parts missing and the rest wasn't wired properly. But the medical establishment and the deaf experts were not very good at helping me out. They weren't much good. So it was, oh yeah, well, maybe he'll have to go to special school. And I thought, no way. I'm going to find out what is wrong with him. So I took upon myself to do research, to talk to other parents, to find things. And eventually, through my own effort and research, I managed to get him diagnosed with coordination disorder and autistic spectrum disorder on top of it. So I had to fight really hard to get all the things in place for his support. And finally, when he went to secondary school and I managed to get the best possible deaf education for him, then I thought, well, this is my time. Now I can go back to work. But I wanted to go back to work with something I had a passion for. And definitely psychology was my passion. So at that age, as a mature student, I went to university. I did a degree in psychology. Then I qualified as a hypnotherapist and a psychotherapeutic counselor. I've qualified as a bereavement counselor. And I love what I do now because I have a real understanding from birth to late adulthood of how the process of the mind works, what it is that makes people to do stupid things when they know it's stupid, but they still do, the self-sabotaging. And it just comes from the programming that you have from childhood, but also from the mechanics of the brain. So this is what the knowledge that I now have. And I use it with adults that come to see me because of have different mental health conditions such as anxiety, or supporting parents who are concerned about the children's development. And there it is. That's how I came to work in the field of psychology.
Brilliant.
But never give up. Just keep on going. That's my message.
Awesome. I think it would be just worth, I didn't realize, but obviously I have the physical book here, and I must say the physical book is obviously much better than the Kindle version because, you know, the book itself is beautifully designed. So inside you will see every author has actually written their own quote, and we have beautiful imagery throughout the book as well. So you have the short stories about 1,000 words, and then each author actually has like a little bio in there too. So I will share, of course, how we're gonna get the book as well in the end. So let's go back and summarize what we've been up to. So let's see. So there we go. So that was Gloria. Thank you so much. I mean, you can now see, right, how these stories in the book really are very relatable. I'm sure everyone can relate to something that one of the three ladies has actually mentioned. And this is my quote from the book: when you release your magic, you light up the path for others. And that was my whole intention around writing this book. My next book, by the way, is also on its way. It's going to be Joy, and I'm looking for the next 25 authors. So if you have a desire to be featured, of course, you can always message me as well. I'm about to go into the next part of the session and open up to the whole panel of experts, because we have another 4 or 5 actually here today that you can actually ask questions to. Before I do that, I just want to position the next section a little bit. We've just gone about half an hour, so we'll have another, about 25-30 minutes left. So I just want to position the Reach for Greatness Women in Leadership movement a little bit more, because since I've been speaking about the book, and I've been around different places, and women have been hugely inspired by the book, and we've sold massive amounts as well. It's been a bestseller on Amazon for weeks in 5 different countries, and no doubt the next book will also become a bestseller, because this is the power of working with a team and working with 25 authors who have a large network, right? But really, women have asked me, so how can I now follow the path of empowerment and develop, different life and leadership skills, to live a happy and abundant, balanced life, where I have all the tools and the opportunities, to pursue my long-term goals. How can I do this? I'm not sure, they weren't sure. So kind of got me thinking. I thought, well, kind of need a place where we can find all topics that we need, right, to create that daily impact in life, and having that professional and personal development resources. And it occurred to me that when it comes to professional development, yes, we can consume all kinds of information, but that does not give us the transformation.
Tell your story. You got to tell your story, but it's learning how to do that. And many people think that they don't have a story to tell, or their story is boring, which is not true, as we've learned from everybody who's been sharing today. It's especially true that we, reflect and have a look at where we've been on our journey and some of the choices that we make. So I particularly like to focus on those choice moments, those threshold moments when we've been faced with a choice or not. And there's a simple thing that you can do, and I'll use the example of Cinderella because everybody knows that story. And you think about Cinderella and the choices that she had, and the characters that are within that story. For instance, this evil stepmother. Now, one of the things I want to say, being a storyteller and coming from a background of traditional storytelling as well, is we've got these sort of stereotypes and that we've been meant to believe in all along. But if you dig a little deeper and you realize that those stories have been edited and put down in books specifically by white Northern European men, so they have certain biases in them already. And stepmothers, for instance, why are they so evil? If you look at where women are and what their value has been all along in life, it always has to be based on the fact of they were able to have children, their ability to work, and the money that they brought to a particular marriage when they went into it. But they themselves were considered property. And so once their value was gone, they couldn't have children anymore, their beauty was gone, the money was spent, they couldn't really work anymore, then they didn't have any value, and they couldn't own property. So one of the things that would happen is that these women would then be replaced or supplanted by the son's wife or the new model that the husband chose. So that's why they became the evil stepmother, because they were looking to hang on to some position or authority, because otherwise they were just chucked out. We don't realize this when we read the stories in the Grimm's Brothers of Cinderella and the evil stepmother and what she's on about. But now that you have some understanding of that, you know where her perspective is. So looking at that, we don't have enough information about women and their experience because we haven't heard from them enough in our time. So that's why it's really important for women to come forward and tell their story from their experience, so that we can hear what their experience has been, and we can have a better perspective on why they do what they do, why the choices that they've made, why they've made those choices. So just to look at your own story, if you think of a threshold moment in your life, for instance, when there's been a shift or a change in you know, a life event, or you've moved from one place to another, or you've changed from being a working person to a mom, and think of the choices that you made. Ask yourself the questions, you know, of all the choices that you had. For instance, I'm going to go back to Cinderella again, you know, why didn't she leave that home? So she didn't leave the home. She didn't stand up to the mother. She didn't tell the sisters off. She didn't sabotage things. What did she do? She scrubbed that kitchen until it sparkled and shined, and learned that with every task, there was some sort of joy in that. And she found that joy and kept moving forward. So now you know what kind of a person that she was, and it kind of informs what her path in life is and where she's going. So if you ask yourself those questions, and you can even give yourself a directional thing, look at, you know, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't do this other, but what I did was this, and this is what it gave me. This is the gift that it gave me. This is the lesson that I learned, or the strength that I gained from it. And then you can kind of sort of accept your story and come to know the value and really appreciate what the experience was. Because in order to gather the wisdom from your experience and your story, you have to actually unpack it, get it down to its essential elements, and give yourself some time to reflect on that. And stories are an oral tradition, so the other half of telling a story is listening to one. So finding someone that you can trust, that has the capacity to hold the space and deeply listen to your story, is the biggest gift of all that you can give to someone, and that you can allow for yourself, is allow yourself to tell that story. And because naming and listening are the two biggest gifts that story brings to you. All of the women whose stories you've heard had to do that. They had to stop, they had to listen to their experience, they had to name the things that happened, and then reflect on what actually was going on there and what it is that they learned from that and where they're going to go next. And that's why your story is the most powerful tool that you have. And the most powerful story that you can tell is the one that you tell yourself. So I'm going to leave it at that, and let the other people in the panel have a speak about what they have to speak about.
Thank you so much, Stacey. I'm so super sorry my internet dropped. The weather, I think it's raining here. So, but that is great that, you know, I actually wanted to open up to the panel and kind of position, you know, where do these people come from? Look at the amazing experts that we've got today. And I've been in such a fortunate position to be able to actually get to know a range of powerful women through the work that I'm doing. So I'm just going to share this for the next 2-3 minutes, and then we'll open up completely. So yeah, I mean, the Women in Leadership movement, you know, has led to one place, and this is an empowerment portal that we're now pulling together because, as I said, we're in such a fabulous position that we have a group of experts, and I knew that with the group of experts, we can create a space that not just gives us information, but it's about transformation, because we all know we can get information online, but this is about empowering women and helping them to actually, you know, be part of a community, because we all know if we go on seminars, courses and things like this, we need to take time off, attend training, and maybe we'll have all workbooks somewhere in our drawers. And are we looking at that again? Probably not. So what gives us the transformation, and how can we actually go on that path of empowerment and continue to develop ourselves? It's the practice, it's the application, and potentially working with a mentor and having a community. So the idea of the empowerment portal was actually born, and absolutely I knew with the help of industry experts, we could pull together an incredibly powerful resource online. It's a place which also has community attached, and also provides information and support in digital resources, but we also have real access to experts who have extensive experience in the corporate world as well, and who specialize in different areas of life. And as I said before, there's much more than just professional development needed to be a great leader. You know, it's about to be able to step into our power every single day, that we have not only skill set, but also develop mindset and continuously working on ourselves. We want to keep being inspired, motivated, and also improve those relationships around us at work, at home, being a great parent, right? Keeping healthy physically as well as mentally. And this is where we actually started to combine all of these topics inside this portal. We're combining mental and physical wellness. We're having things in there around stress, depression, parenting, love and relationship, mindset, and of course all the leadership tools, as well as career coaching. We also got Amanda on the call today. I've seen her. She is a fantastic career coach as well. And you also have access to these people. That the portal is going to be ever growing, which is beautiful. It includes video trainings, online masterclasses, seminars, workbooks, audios, the likes, right? Meditations as well, that experts such as hypnotherapists and career coaches have put together, and also one-to-one calls as part of the different membership levels. Important is that you will also get a supportive community should you want to, work with us in some shape or form, and you want to go into this journey of self-development and support, then of course we have all this put together. The beauty is the resources are there and you can watch them anytime. There is no time limit, not like going to a training and then you have the information, you may forget about the information. You don't have to take time off. Employers don't need to send the employees to courses and things like this. So this is all really, really flexible as well. So it can really work with your home and work-life logistics. And yeah, one of the things that we also included in there is your home life logistics. As I was just mentioning, how often do you get home late from work and then you have nothing in the fridge? You just resort to sort of freezer food, or you pick something up from, McDonald's or Burger King. So there are tools and techniques and strategies and plans and things that we all have bundled up into this portal that will help also organize home life. And by the way, the Men in Leadership tool is also in development, so that'll come in next. So let me open up the panel. So you've met Stacia Keogh already, who is a storyteller. We also have Elaine Battle, who is a transformational specialist, and she's also part. So all these ladies are actually contributors to the portal. They have put content into there, and they are available for expert consultations as part of the membership. There is Melissa Howard, who is a confidence coach, and Jennifer Parker-Brown, who's an image and lifestyle consultant. And there are 5, 6, 7 other ladies there already, but we just got a select handful today who are able to answer questions and maybe bring a bit closer in terms of what they do and how they can make a great impact in other people's lives. So if you have questions right now for the ladies, or general questions regards to the book or any of the things that we talked about, then please post them now and we'll go through them in the next 10 minutes or so. I'm going to, yes?
Sorry to interrupt. There was a question further back from a lady called Anita who was talking about the fear of failure. I just wondered if we could capture that for her. And she was talking about the little voices and the big voices. And I would just like to say, I always used to fear failure because, it comes in forms of rejection, of, not thinking that you're good enough. And I've actually managed to reframe that into thinking that actually failure is a great thing, because that's how we learn. We learn when we do things wrong. It's the fuel. So when I was in the depression state, in the negative and the fearful stuff, that was the fuel that sent me forward to catapult, in the right direction. So for me, when I feel a bit unwary or, a bit fearful, I know that there's a lesson coming, and I actually now kind of get excited about it, but it takes obviously some inner work and some understanding. But Anita, I just wondered if that helps. If you're feeling fear of failure, then go through it anyway. And there's always two things that I keep when I look back, is either the memory, if something's amazing, I hold the memory. If something wasn't so good, such as the depression, the bipolar, the, you know, the suicidal thoughts, then I hold the lesson. And those two things together can bring you the fulfillment and that fuel to go forward. So when you start to feel the fear, because you always feel it before you know what it is, kind of open up your arms and embrace it and go, oh, something good's happening. You know, you're only going to create the memory, you're going to fail or you're going to learn. So I hope that that helps, Anita, because I know that was way back. So I just wanted to not lose that one. Thank you.
Gloria, have you helped someone with hypnotherapy and helped them improve something? Gloria?
Right, thank you. Absolutely. I think fear of failure is, you know, is quite common with lots of people. And it's something in your subconscious that holds you. And I think Susanne spoke greatly and really very well about the subconscious. That's what keeps you stuck. You pick up a series of ideas about the world and about yourself when you're a child and you're not aware of it. We pick up our programming really when we are children, but we don't have the critical awareness to accept or reject those ideas. You just take them in, absorb them, and they become part of you. You believe that they become part of you, part of your personality, which is not true. So those things in the past, like, you know, if you fail, you're going to be maybe made ridicule, maybe your parents are going to be disappointed, whatever. So it's quite common and it's not a natural. And you have to get against that fear, learning and you know, say as the previous speaker has said. But there is another fear that people are not aware of, and it's the fear of success. And that can hold you back as much. If I'm too successful, people are going to think I'm ahead of myself. If I'm too successful, I don't fit in this environment anymore. So you have to be aware of that kind of fear as well. And basically hypnotherapy, or there are other parts, if you tap in your subconscious, you need to find what it is, the erroneous belief that you hold that is keeping you stuck in that position. Once you find that erroneous belief and you have a different perspective, is as quick as that. And I've seen people just change in 2 sessions of hypnotherapy. If you hit in the right spot, reframe it, and they're free. So just be aware that you're not stuck. Sometimes when people live with something for a long time, believe that it's part of their identity. This is how I am. And as I say, you don't have an anxious person, you have a person with anxiety. It's not, some conditions are not personality traits. They're just something you've acquired and you don't realize you have. You can't get rid of it. So hypnotherapy is a really good fast method, but there are other ways as well. But talk to someone. Don't believe you have to be stuck with it.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Fabulous. Can I open up to Elaine next? There was a question, maybe you can, I mean, I know Melissa has kind of commented on that as well. So maybe Elaine and Melissa talking about how you can kind of keep up your energy. How do you manage your energy? How do you create more energy?
Yeah. Can you unmute?
Yes, you're unmuted. I just did it. 1 sec. Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on. Yeah, I just saw that was a great question, Annette. Hello, everybody. Yeah, we are our own energy. We can create our own energy through everything we do. So whether it's how you think, the foods that you put in your body are an enormous tool to fuel the building blocks of the way that you think, and how you move your body. It sounds so counterintuitive that when you're really tired, the last thing you want to do is move, but moving your body shifts heavy, stuck energy. So it's about having everything in balance. And you talked at the beginning about mind, body, spirit, and that is exactly what it is. Every one of those elements has to be in balance in order for us to feel good. A great thing to do that I do in my life every day, I have a checklist of all the things I know that make me feel good, because sometimes we're so busy and we forget. So if you know that going for a walk in the park makes you feel better, if you know that eating 20 bananas makes you feel great, have yourself a little checklist so that you know you're doing those every day so that you can keep that consistency. So yeah, it really is everything, and it's not just a once, done it once, I'm cured. It's a daily, consistent pattern of what you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely create our energy. So great question.
Very good.
Melissa, did you want to comment on that as well?
Yeah, great. I absolutely love this because I think we kind of look externally for energy sometimes, or we pin what we think generates our energy on external factors when actually it really, really comes within. And the more that we can work on that, and as Elaine said, you know, gut health actually is huge when it comes to energy, but it's all within ourselves, and it all comes down to the level of confidence, our self-worth, our self-esteem. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the most confident or have the, you know, most amount of self-worth, but it's actually understanding what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled, what makes you get up in the morning, and trying to find ways to integrate that within your day-to-day, within your life, even when you are the most busiest person there. I find that we prioritize sometimes things that we don't want in our life, and it's trying to find out what it is and how we can move forward to that point. So for me, we are our energy, and I think owning that, seeing what that is for us and stepping into that is the most powerful thing that you can do, because we are unlimitless. So to be able to do that is really, really powerful.
Thank you so much. Yay. Jenny, are you there? Can we hear from you as well in terms of what you do?
Okay, so ever so quickly, I know that we're getting a little bit short of time. So my name's Jenny P from Style and Conquer movement. It's not just about style. I think what I've got to say will actually pull together the perspectives of all of these amazing experts. I want to redefine a little bit what success is and the success cycle. I want to talk ever so briefly about the success cycle. Because you've heard the expression success attracts success. So we're in a cycle, and that cycle is actually just every single day made up of our habits and our rituals. So my story in 3 words is a bit of a Cinderella story, because, you know, I also knew a lot of adversity. I'm not in the book, but I also knew a lot of adversity, you know, 4 marriages, 3 bankruptcies. Mostly what defined my story earlier in my life was the lack of self-belief. And I set out at an early age to overcome that lack of self-belief, and I became absolutely passionate about achieving our potential and achieving our dreams. I'm like your dream BFF. So my greatest claim to fame so far is creating a live equestrian theatre over a big top and dancing with my horse to Dire Straits. And I don't think there's anybody else in the world who's done that. So I have worked for 15 years to understand what it takes to overcome limiting beliefs and to really express yourself. So what I understand is it's in the daily habits that you have an opportunity to iterate and reiterate your success, both at an individual level and at a collective if you're working for an organization, by playing at your highest level. And what does playing at your highest level mean? It means preparing your day to excel. It means preparing your day to show up out there as your highest self, as your best self. And one of my passions in the work that I do is through image. And I want to talk ever so quickly about what image is. It touches about what Elaine says. Image is actually not just about clothes. It's made up of 3 things. Elaine talked about it very eloquently. Image is our energy. First of all, the first thing that comes through our image is our energy. And our energy is our life force. It's our vitality. It's our mood, it's our hormonal balance, it's our emotional mastery, it's our charm, our charisma. All of those things are our energy. So they all come into image. The second thing is our style, is, you know, how we dress, how we express ourselves as, you know, authentically in our truth. And as it's such a powerful communication tool, how we use our style to magnetize towards us the opportunities and the dreams and the clients and the success that we want. And the third thing that makes up image is our life purpose, is our mission in life, is our vision, our goals, our big why, and our big dreams. All of those things define your authenticity. They define where you are. So we have every single day an opportunity, not just when we meditate and journal in the morning and, you know, do some yoga, but the next, and then, you know, we blank out, get on with the day. It is like, then we dress ourselves, and by preparing ourselves, you know, with our self-care routine, to step out into the world every single day and make that day a pearl, what we end up doing is creating a necklace of pearls. So, you know, image mastery is like brand mastery. It's neuroscience, it's psychology, it's an art and a science, but it isn't rocket science. It's a learnable skill that anybody can acquire, which is why you can hear I'm so passionate about it. And it really, it just really, really elevates you to the next level every single blinking day. So my takeaway for you today is just to something you can just do is to go home and look in your wardrobe, your closet, your drawers, and say, does that wardrobe and does my daily routine represent my higher self playing at my highest level? And if it doesn't, it goes. It's like time to purge, time to get it out, time to start afresh. You know, this is an opportunity to really, really define, get clear on what success means to you in your life, and to start to prepare in it with this vital everyday routine and habit.
Wow. Powerful. Thank you so much, Jenny. I really appreciate that. Let me just get my video back in. Thank you so much, ladies. I think this is really what we've got time for. I know there's some couple of questions still there, so hopefully Melissa and Claire, whoever, will actually pitch in and answer those in the chat. I just want to read this one. What was it? Where is it gone now? It's been a great remark from somewhere there. So I like the idea of making small effort and change every single day. This positive and proactive mindset is very appealing, but it can be a huge shift in mindset and can be different first step to make. Have you got any tips for preparing ourselves to get started? Maybe you can answer that in the chat. And also, I think Renata, I think, yeah, Amanda is already explaining. So I think some of you already said, hey, this is amazing. There's so much stuff to take in. And of course, you know, every single lady that has spoken has a different section that she's teaching inside the empowerment portal. And I am sure that, you know, some of you are now truly, truly ready to up level, and you want to have a piece of that and to continue, you know, empowering yourself and create this massive impact. Now, with your permission, I have already posted the links to the empowerment portal. I'm going to just bring them on the screen as well, so that you can take note of that. You can have a look at this. And of course, there may be questions. I have also posted a link how you can get in touch with myself. And if you want to have a conversation and see if this is, you know, this is a good fit for you, of course, you can learn about more about the book too. But what we've put together for you really is 30% off and a bonus. As we said, the ones who stick to the end, we want to actually, you know, over deliver. We're going to give you some bonuses. There's going to be some extra prizes as well. And, you know, it's about, you know, thinking about it and saying yes to yourself and joining the movement. You know, so for those who want further support, you know, say yes to yourself, say yes to your next level, in your career and your life. You know, join us inside the empowerment portal. You will also be accessing a wonderful community that will continue to support you on wherever level you're at. There are 3 levels of membership. So basically there's a number one, the basic level. It's really like you get an overview. The medium level is like you get a bit more information in terms of more digital content, and you have access also to our experts. And then you have a VIP level where you can really deep dive and create some fundamental transformations where you have lots more time with our experts as well. So the portal is not just a digital version, a digital kind of online platform where you go and watch videos. This is also with real interaction. And then we will also have a community. So we have a group where we will be meeting every so often, and we have some live speakers as well, some more workshops going on as well, like these, you know. So I'd love to invite you to you know, look at the portal as well, and hopefully you'll be working with us in some shape or form in whatever stage you are right now. So That said, there's a surprise gift as well. There are a couple of winners for the book. I think Aman is going to sort that out. I don't know exactly how it's going to work and who was asking the best questions. They will actually get a free book. But also, if you are, getting one of the memberships in the Empowerment Portal, you will also receive a free copy sent to you of the book Rise as well. Okay. We will be also sending you the replay and a checklist that goes with the workshop today, so that you can actually take this and put some actions down for your life and maybe just recap what you have heard. I think that's it. Lastly, yeah, I just want to kind of say thank you to everyone and leave you again with my little quote. It is literally like that. When you release your magic, you light the path for others. And of course, you can connect with me and discuss any details about the book, about women in leadership, or my next book, or if you have queries about the portal, there is my link. Learn more about it, info, book a call, and then get into my diary, and then we'll have a one-to-one conversation. So with that said, I would like to close the workshop and thank you all very, very much for giving up your time, and all the amazing panelists that were sharing their golden nuggets. I'm super proud. I think it was a really interactive workshop, and I'm sure it's very well received. We'll have more of those, of course, inside the Empowerment Portal. And we will, if with your permission, we will send out some more relevant materials. I think we all got your emails because you have registered for the webinar. So we will be inviting you for further summits like this as well. And of course, we'll follow up with the replay. So thank you so much. And I will stop sharing and